And also Chiltern Walks. Have you heard of Chiltern Walks? So this is a fabulous local organisation. Going to be speaking to the man who set this up. He is a committed outdoor explorer. Going to be chatting to him in about 5 minutes time as well. And he wants to get much more interest from diverse communities for them to really appreciate the great outdoors as well. Now you're listening to me, Farzana Chaudry, with you every Monday evening from 7 to 10 p.m. So my next guest says that exploring the great outdoors has been one of his most serious obsessions since being a young child. Shamir Shah says that whether he was camping, bouldering, trekking or cycling, he simply can't get enough of spending time in the wilderness and experiencing what nature has to offer. Samir is an experienced guide and adventurer, and he arranges walks through the Chilterns which can be customised. Samir joins me now. Good evening, Samir. Welcome to the show.
Hello, good evening, Farzana. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, you're very welcome. Now, can you summarise, how does being in nature affect you?
Oh, summarise tremendous ways. There's way too many ways to summarize. Firstly, I mean, just to keep it short and simple, we're talking about mental health and well-being. And that is probably the best way to improve your mind, body and soul through being deep in nature.
Yeah, so I mean it's instant effects. You must notice that as well when you've got individuals, maybe they haven't often been on a walk. Do you notice that difference in them? Do they tell you that they feel so much better?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, that's based on a lot of the reviews I get, but also when I'm talking with the people out on the trail, and especially when it's their first few times they've been out with me, they seem changed in ways probably deeper than I can explain. And when certain aspects of nature, whether it's panoramic vistas or deep in ancient forests, wows them, they go quiet a lot of the times. And then when we speak later, you can hear that silence coming out and actually explain how they actually felt about being in that moment.
Wow. You set up Chiltern walking trips. You're an experienced guide. Tell me, and you can also customize the walks as well. Tell me more about Chiltern walks.
The Chilterns is vast. It's an area of outstanding natural beauty. And I don't know why it's not a national park, but it could be a national park. The Chilterns is vast. It's got some beautiful areas. It's got some lovely hilltops. It's got lots of ancient woods, and great hillsides and vistas that you can find. Now, in terms of customizing them, I do have four approaches to it. So we've got the monthly public hikes, and anyone can join those. I've got a 3-day, quite a few 3-day hike and camp retreat, where we hike in the day and we sit by a campfire and converse while looking at the stars. I've got a 3-day trek, which is the introduction to backpacking, because there's a lot of people who want to go on multi-day treks but don't know how, and so this is an introduction to backpacking. And the one that I'm really enjoying at the moment, which was launched just last year, is the Nature Kick Hikers Club, and that is where you go on regular hikes with the same like-minded people, but obviously there's people joining, so we get new people coming along, and the conversations get very deep, and they get light as well, but it's all in good
Very
fun.
deep.
It's all in good fun.
Oh no, so there
Yeah.
is really something for everyone there, isn't there? And I would imagine also like a safe environment as well. They're with an experienced adventurer as well, and they're also, I guess, just testing out their equipment. I would imagine, and also just their own strength and their ability as well in a safe space.
Absolutely, this is it. So a lot of people I have found, especially the Asians, Black, and the ethnic community, they don't get out as much as I feel they should. And many of the reasons, well, the light-hearted reasons really is how they don't understand how to get started or where to get started.
Yeah.
And the other one that comes into mind, which is often mentioned, is the fear factor. I put it down to the fear factor, which is safety, getting lost, danger, things like that. If something happens to them, what do they do? And so yes, it's where they get started, where they park up, where they start, how they navigate the wilderness, and how they get back safely is a big issue.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and again, you know, Shamir, these, these are real kind of like common things that I would imagine anyone would also be quite afraid about. If you haven't really gone out for a walk, I mean, it's different kind of walking around your block, etc. Is this cost prohibitive? You know, what are some of the minimum kind of elements of gear that you would need?
Well, that's a great question. I would say you can get out in your rain jacket and trainers, as easy as that. I would try to avoid cotton gear on the outer layers as much as possible, because we know the weather in the UK is mostly wet.
Yeah.
And when it gets wet, you can get into trouble because it doesn't dry quick enough. So that's a big no-no. However, in terms of getting people out, I would just say get out in what you have. And most importantly is go locally first and go often. See how it feels. And if that feels good, then join me on one of my hikes.
I like that. Go locally and go often. I like that. I really like that. You said about wanting to get more interest from diverse communities, and my ultimate kind of, I can just visualize it. A lovely group of Auntie G's with their samosas and their flasks of chai, etc. I mean, that I guess is probably the ultimate dream, isn't it? And can you imagine some of the conversations that they would have?
Absolutely, but that's what it's about. That's actually what it's about, because in nature you connect on a different level than you would at a pub in the city. It's completely different, and the conversations that come out, the deep conversations actually that come out, is absolutely fantastic. And the aspect of their background, their understanding of nature, where they've come from, and how they used to climb trees when they were kids, and run around by the little creeks at the end of their gardens. All that stuff comes out where they used to do it, but they don't anymore, and you wonder why. Yeah. And we lost that childhood validity of being out in nature. And that's what I'm trying to encourage people to get back to their roots.
Oh, it's so nice that you say that. My mother, after my father passed away, my mum just took to gardening, and she hadn't, while Dad was alive, she hadn't really done any gardening. She appreciated the gardening, and she knew where everything needed to go, and the roses, and where the shrubs were, etc. But she really got her hands green after he passed away, and it is exactly for what you say. It's that connection. It's breathing in oxygen. You get a really good night's sleep as well. It's gentle on your muscles, on your limbs as well, all of those movements and things, and incredibly beneficial to your mental well-being as well, I would say.
Absolutely. I mean, look, if you can maximize your natural sunlight, the way to do that is getting outdoors. It not only makes you feel better, but it reduces stress, anxiety, depression, focuses on your work memory. It's a mood boost and excellence. Every time you go into nature and you come back out, I guarantee you. I mean, go deep into nature and come back out. I guarantee you will be healed on a certain level.
You'd be healed. I love that. Lastly, Shamir, I mean, you are an experienced wilderness kind of, camper, etc. What's the most adventurous thing that you've done? That you've really pushed yourself to the limit.
Wow. Wow, that's fantastic. That's a great question. There is everything I do when I do solo or as I do on a bespoke for myself adventure is challenging. I challenge myself because that makes it fun for me and helps me learn and find out about myself a bit more. So the one thing I would say is probably trekking the Appalachian Trail in the east coast of the U.S.
Oh, wow.
That was, just over 2,000 miles. And it was absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So much I learned about myself. I think I walked away a different person, and
Wow.
I was quite young there. I was 19 years old then. So it was pretty incredible. And one more, I would say climbing Mount Kilimanjaro was very special. Very special.
Wow. So Chiltern Walks, you are online as well. So the listeners can go, just type in Chiltern Walks and you're there and they can find out all the information there and how to contact you and how to book a walk.
Absolutely, yes. They can go to
Brilliant.
Chiltern Walks or they can go to shamirshah.com and you'll get everything there, which is probably the better site to go to. I'm on social media as well. I'm very active on Instagram and YouTube, so people can reach me there too.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us. You take care. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Shamir Shah there, and you can find him on social media. His name is spelled Shameer, Samir Shah. And I love what he said. He said, look, getting over the fear. He says, go locally and go often, just to build, I guess, your courage maybe, and just your stamina, etc. But yeah, I mean, it's, barriers that he said there to diverse communities, just they don't really know how to get started. How do you get started? Maybe what's the gear that you need, and also just getting over that fear factor as well, and that safety, etc. About what happens if you get lost, etc. So I hope you found that really useful. I definitely did. So it's the time for our weekly sing along.